Good evening, a warm welcome to our main news with me, Sylvia Zulu. Here are the top stories making headlines in our news tonight. ZESCO worry over continued increase of vandalism on electricity infrastructure. UNZA students comment government over meal allowance increase. 8 opposition political parties unveil united KWACHA ALLIANCE-UKA. And in international news, election protests turn deadly in Senegal. And in sports news, KAMANGA salutes FUTSAL team for AFCON qualifications. I will be back with the details shortly.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. And now the news in detail. ZESCO has expressed concern over the ever-increasing cases of vandalism on its electricity supply network. ZESCO Corporate Communications Manager Karista Chitamvia says the company in 2023 spent 24 million kwacha to replace the damaged installations. Meanwhile, ZESCO Senior Special Duties Investigations Officer Veni Mwana Nakwe says there is a need for investigations to go beyond the economic needs of the vandals as their actions have become coordinated and advanced. The duo was speaking when an entourage from the power utility towards some vandalized installations Sunday in Kasisi, Minwood Kwamwena, airport area and waterfalls.
Vandals have gone on rampage in Lusaka East, stealing and damaging ZESCO cables and a transformer. The areas affected are Kasisi Airport area, Minwood Kwamwena and waterfalls. On Sunday, an entourage from the company visited the affected areas. Here in Kasisi, this cable was dug out and the vandals went away with a piece, affecting 7 other transformers.
Vandalized about 35 meters. Then last night, they came now trying to dig and vandalize this cable, but our quick response and the alertness from the community around saved this cable. They did not steal anything.
Nakomana kawala wali 4 pakona pale. So nawapa question, my guys, mwenda kuti this time asira nangani chani. Nikuti no immediately ni pangono. Napunda paja boss brand kuti mkone abantu. Paja futhi waje wakawala anabwera from panga attack. Ani pisha paka ninakwa pakona paja kutamangira kuli mabwana.
So that when it bends, the cores will short. So when they short, where the power comes from, it will trip, it will open. So even when you try, it will still trip. So it gives them now time to come and after waiting for some time, now they will know nothing else will happen.
In airport area, the situation is even worrisome as a large part of an underground cable was cut out. While the attempt to steal at waterfalls was thwarted, the cables were left damaged.
So this place where we are, we recorded similar incidents 2 weeks ago. They had stolen about 25 meters of cables. So we repaired that and restored supply. The cost that we recorded at that time was about 860,000 kwacha in terms of materials alone.
Lamenting the ever-increasing vandalism, the company has urged members of the public to partner in safeguarding electricity installations.
Just January alone, the last month, we lost up to 14 transformers, just Lusaka alone. So the losses are worrying us, and from our standpoint, the activities have been very, very coordinated, and it's actually going beyond the economic interests of the vandals. We are looking beyond such interests because we have seen that the groups are increasing and are well coordinated and are well sponsored.
Out towards servicing new customers, people who actually need to be put on the grid. This, as you saw, vandalism is becoming extremely worrisome for ZESCO, because almost every day, every night, we have reports of underground cables vandalized or overhead transformers.
For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
The University of Zambia Student Union has commended government for raising meal allowances. In an interview with Camnet News, UNZA President Vincent Musilikani says the student body is thankful for the initiative. And Gift Mukadi, a student, says the increase from 22 kwacha 15 ngwe to 25 kwacha will significantly assist students in acquiring essential items amid rising commodity prices.
University of Zambia Student Union President Vincent Musilikani applauds the Higher Education Loans and Scholarship Board for increasing students' meal allowances. Speaking to Camnet News, Mr. Musilikani says, this will ensure that students are not financially strained and concentrate more on their studies.
22 kwacha 15 ngwe, which is 670 per month, to 25 kwacha 25 kwacha, which is 750. That's a lot. That's better. We are seeing that as an increment, and we are grateful for that. Also, the government also looked at accommodation allowance, which was at 1,200 to 3,900. That is over 300% increment, of which as students we are happy, we are grateful. For us it means there will be less sugar daddies in the university.
He also adds that students greatly appreciate the gesture but are even more grateful to the Higher Education Loans and Scholarship Board for taking up registration fees, stating that instances occurred where students would drop out of school because they were unable to pay registration fees.
The biggest score is registration fee being cancelled or being taken up by Higher Education Loans and Scholarship Board. And this is what the public out there hasn't paid attention, which is the most important thing. Today students are very happy because we had instances where students drop out of school. A student on 100% student loan drop out of school, all because they couldn't manage to pay 1,500 in 365 days. So these submissions were made to the government and the Higher Educational Loans Board, and we are glad that we are given audience. And
meanwhile, Gift Mukadi, a University of Zambia student, tells Camnet TV that the increment will help the students meet all the necessary needs amidst the high cost of essential commodities.
Cost of living, basically, it's a great move to us as the student populace. We have really welcomed that move by His Excellency Dr. Hakainde Chilema. It will help us look at in terms of the few commodities that you're supposed to get us as the students. So one thing that I can say on the student is thank you, Excellency, for that move. It will really help us even in terms of getting some few things that will help us here on campus.
On Wednesday, the 7th of February, the Higher Education Loans and Scholarship Board increased the meal allowances for students on bursary from 22 kwacha 15 ngwe to 25 kwacha per month. On Wednesday, 7th February 2024, the Higher Education Loans and Scholarship Board increased meal allowances for students on bursary from 22 kwacha 15 ngwe to 25 kwacha. Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Zambia Council for Social Development, ZCSD, has welcomed the resuming of schools following 2 postponements due to the cholera outbreak. ZCSD Executive Director Leah Mitaba says the prolonged closure of schools had abrogated the right to education as pupils and students, especially from public institutions, were disadvantaged due to lack of online learning platforms. Mr. Mitaba hopes that measures put in place to prevent such disruptions from negatively impacting the academic progress will yield the intended purpose. Government on Thursday maintained that schools will resume Monday, 12th February, and assured that measures of preventing cholera in schools have been put in place.
Our landscape as a country, you'll find that we have the haves and the have-nots. And so when the ministry announced on that 29th January the schools would not open as planned, we still saw our colleagues in the private sector still opening up learning through online platforms. And so already you see that it brings in a disparity which Zambia has committed under the United Nations to ensure that progressively education is made a right and a realized for each child in an equitable manner, in a fair manner, in a manner that does not disadvantage the other child. But then you'll see already that 3 or 4 weeks now, the rural child, the peri-urban child, the poor child has lost in terms of education outcomes. So I think school closure should not be something that should happen. And for that, we are recommending that the government puts in place a multi-sectoral team that brings together different ministries, different institutions to ensure that issues around cholera, for instance, cholera is something that we anticipate each time we have a rain season. How can we, during the dry spell, plan to ensure that we create a Zambia that is free from cholera? We create a Zambia that is going to ensure that every child goes to school the time that they're supposed to go to school. And then the other thing that we were worried about is that you see through the school health and nutrition program, rural children.
8 opposition political parties have called on government to urgently call for dialogue and resolve the Barcelona issue once and for all. In a statement read by Gordon Party of Zambia President Jackson Silavwe, the political parties claims that government's conduct towards Barcelona issue is threatening peace and stability in the country. Mr. Silavwe suggests that the two sides should consider engaging a mediator, whether local or international, to bring them to a dialogue table. Meanwhile, United Liberal Party President Sakiba Skota, who chairs the alliance, has disclosed that the group will now be called the United KWACHA ALLIANCE-UKA and will soon be registered.
With 2026 fast approaching, 8 opposition political parties have reviewed the name for their newly formed alliance. Speaking at a media briefing Sunday afternoon, Alliance Chairperson and United Liberal Party President Sakiba Skota announced the name of the alliance to the nation through the media.
So we thought that it would be best that we clear that up with yourselves to let you know that the alliance that we are forming and the name which we are putting forward to the registrar for us to be registered is the United KWACHA Alliance, UKA. That is the name that we're going to have. We do know that there isn't any other name similar to that, so the registrar should have no problems with okaying the name, and so that we can formally start doing our work.
During the same media engagement, the alliance received a new member in Dr. Dan Pule of the Christian Democratic Party.
Where people stand united, even in the Bible, God does wonderful things. I believe that the United KWACHA Alliance is the alliance that will usher in the next government. At the same time, I believe that as opposition political parties, we need to work together as a team.
And in a statement read by Gordon Part of Zambia President Jackson Silavwe, the opposition has called on the United Party for National Development UPND-led government to urgently call for dialogue and resolve the Barroseland issue once and for all.
As an alliance of political parties, we are calling for dialogue not only on Barroso question, but on the endemic poverty and deep national divisions that have caused stagnation in our quest for development as a country. As the opposition alliance, we are now of the view that this is a clear and present issue that needs resolution. There is so much suspicion and mistrust that the Barroso royal establishment has been demanding the Zambian government must put down in writing what their position is. As the Barroso issue is an emotive one to parties along both sides of the divide, it may be worthwhile to engage a mediator to bring the two sides together.
Also in attendance was legendary comedian Thomas Spalo.
Papanikamba ndipo mulinjala makombo nosati masobeti. Ndipo ife tikadandaula tikakamba kuti mkombo ni mulinjala. Sikuti atinkhala politiko anizoona ndiye vichitika. Yes. So what I'm appealing kuboma ni kwa kuti fakani koni nzeru. Yeah. Narukamba yayi unkozakhala 50. Ngepa nwendera ko kumwamba opposite. Tieni tifakeko nzeru so that vija vamene mwenze kukamba at least of inkaliko half. Manje apa vaendera to opposite yekaeka. So please makombo ninjala eve ilimu. Tieni tifakeko nzeru vizungu veze vambiri ntaka makampeni vantu vanamvera vanapoka. Unamvera bwino nao vantu manje ni ntaka kuti nao vambereko bwino.
Among the notable names at the briefing were former Republican President Edgar Lungu, Chishalakateka of the New Heritage Party, NDC's Savo Imboira, and political researcher Dr. Kefas Mukuka, who recently joined Citizens First of Harikalaba. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, United Party for National Development, UPND Deputy National Youth Chairperson Trevor Mwinde has advised opposition Socialist Party leader Fred Membe to learn to consult before commenting on the Barroso issue. Mr. Mwinde says Dr. Membe should not parade himself as a monopoly of knowledge when in fact he is creating more confusion around the issue. He was commenting on the recent sentiments attributed by Dr. Membe that should he form government in 2026, he will get rid of all provincial ministers and district commissioners and give their mandates to traditional leaders.
So if he wants to use his royal blood, let him become a chief. Yes, if he wants to believe that he is loyal and he belongs to some certain kingdom somewhere, let him become a chief. And like what we are seeing now, it is now very evident and very open for everybody to see and touch and realize that he's even behind all these youth alliances that which are giving outbursts in Barroso. So we want to tell them that the western province of Zambia still remains part of Zambia. And as such, not until when they want to decide that they are inviting confusion, which we as youths in this country, Zambia, we have seen a lot of cheap talk, and we have known people that appended their signatures to the very Nyungandambo association of theirs. We know that most of them now, they don't want to talk. And if they want to try and intimidate us using the Barroso agreement, how many treaties were signed by the Europeans in this country, Zambia? How many treaties? We did all history. We know, and we cannot be changed, moved by things that which were done in the 18th century. This is the 21st century, man. If at all there is anything that which some people or some groups that which are politically backed by the socialist ideas which want to excite them, they need to come out in the open. And let us not be inviting any confusion. I want to advise genuinely the leader of the Socialist Party that let him consult. Politics are there to be learnt even by people that are down. Politics are not there to only be addressed by people that think that they have got the monopoly of wisdom. We have seen the way they carry themselves out and the way they come out, speaking as though they have the knowledge.
And Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Gary Nkombo, says government is collaborating with traditional leaders in an effort to develop the country and improve people's lives. Mr. Nkombo says traditional leaders have a significant role of contributing to effective governance and development of the country. Speaking during the 2024 Ntwala traditional ceremony fundraising dinner in Lusaka, the minister said traditional ceremonies play a pivotal role in development through cultural preservation and tourism promotion. Mr. Nkombo adds that traditional ceremonies help to reinforce values such as integrity and morality.
Mr. Hichilema, who has donated 200,000 kwacha for this. This donation, there is Wenyama, the Royal Highness capacity, together with his dear wife, Mr. Hichilema. The theme of this, thank you. The theme of this particular function, cultural pride and promoting national reconciliation, could not be coined at any time better than this. And so we thank you, organizing committee and the Royal Highness, for making this to happen. I would also like to abbreviate by saying, my wife who came with me here tonight, please accept Betty my 5,000 kwacha here. Soldier of Bengali culture in Zambia, in Malawi, in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Rwanda, in Mozambique, in Zimbabwe, and also in South Africa. This, because Yamankos, Gwenya, makes you sit in a very unique place on this African continent. And those of us who know you personally can describe you as the king, the chief, who has a huge, magnificent task, and yet he carries himself in the most simple manner that an individual can carry themselves. Because, thank you, because
Kauma Central Constituency Member of Parliament, Brigadier General Morgan Sitwala, has commended some local contractors in the district for exhibiting professionalism in their work. He says President Hakainde Hichilema's desire is to see contracts being undertaken by local contractors who in turn should deliver the best results. He was speaking during the official handover of a newly built 1x2 classroom block at Chana Primary School in Mulamitila Ward.
As schools open tomorrow, 12th February 2024, a new building has been added to the list of schools in Kauma Central Constituency. From pole, mud and thatched grass to a newly constructed permanent structure is Chana Community School, which was established in the year 2006, which has now been upgraded to a primary school. Speaking during a handover of a 1x2 classroom block is Kauma District Commissioner, who was the guest of honor at the event.
The government is keen on eradicating poverty, hence initiating policies to develop and build the capacity of the education sector. As your government, we have continued to provide classroom blocks and desks for learners because of our firm belief that education can only be improved when the conducive environment effective for teaching and learning is provided.
Representing the District Education Board Secretary is Gertrude Kabasia.
Guest of honor, the infrastructure that we have given us in the Ministry of Education, it will really push us and give us a good enforcement to the learners and to the teachers to intend their goals.
Kauma Member of Parliament, Brigadier General Morgan Sitwala, has commended the contractors for the timely completion of the project.
When you are given work within that time framework that the President has given. In this building, you can see the contractor was given this site at the end of November. December, January, this is February we are handing over. Within 2 months he has been done. And these are the contractors who we want in Kauma Central.
This development has cheered the community members, who among them are the pioneers of the school.
Likolo makirasene bakenera banana nelinge kasesema kamo mwabonera abuchwani kwa halimu ni kwa dasi. Mi banana ne basoli kunyanda bakenisa miyaho. Yene isoli kulubera buteata fakuyaha. Chwale kachenu fa sikolo saluna lusivoni kisale sikondile.
God's Time Transport and Construction Director, narrates some challenges they came across during this project.
The challenges that we've been facing mainly here is where to get the materials and also the water system and also accessibility to the site. But in the meantime, we just want to maybe appeal to the local authorities and may consider to make sure that they put up roads to these places so that it's easier for us as contractors.
Chana Community School has been built using the 2023 Constituency Development Fund at a total cost of 497,000 kwacha. Enoch Kaneta for Camnet News in Camnet District, Western Province.
This is the main news on Camnet TV. We now take our first break.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodlands, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
It's a January back-to-school promotion bonanza at Darren Bay. Take advantage of our massive price discounts and turn your wonderful school-going kids into stars. With a cornrows hairstyle going at only 30 kwacha for kids below 13 years and 50 kwacha for kids above 13 years, your child is guaranteed that neat and trusted, classy look. This curly, knotless hairstyle is going for as little as 150 kwacha, from as high as 200 kwacha, wigs included. Now that's a classy saving. The sleek ponytail going at 80 kwacha from 120 kwacha makes your little one look like a true princess. Gift your pretty one with this lovely natural twist for as low as 60 kwacha from 100 kwacha, beads included. Now that's a cute saving. Your princess will look stunning in this curly ponytail at only 90 kwacha from the original 110 kwacha. Now that is a great deal. You will find us along Mosi Road, 4th Close, on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post in Ibex Hill, Lusaka. We are open from 0720 to 17 hours, 7 days a week. Call us for appointment bookings on 0772 870588 or WhatsApp on 0972 04 9213. Darren B, a touch of class.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We now continue with more news. Socialist Party youths have challenged President Hakainde Hichilema to discipline cadres who stormed the District Commissioner's office in Chililabombwe on the Copperbelt if he means what he says. SP Youth spokesperson Stanley Mubatsa says despite the president's pronouncements against cadreism, incidents of the vice have continued to manifest, which leaves his words questionable. On Thursday last week, some suspected United Party for National Development, UPND youths stormed Chililabombwe Council, demanding the resignation of the DC owing to his failure to uplift their lives.
Of the president, and clearly Mr. Hichilema cannot shy away from the fact that what is happening in this country is lawlessness. He keeps blaming other political parties, blaming other political leaders. He does not take responsibility. True leaders recognize the mistakes of their own members and discipline them. So we challenge him, if at all is serious about ending cadreism and bringing sanity in this country, to discipline his erring cadres. In fact, what they did is not fit to be called cadreism, but real criminality and thuggerism. So it is happening right under his nose. If he's truly a leader, we should see results by disciplining those people so that it does not repeat itself. Next time we will see them attacking members of the civil service, and this is going to be very, very bad. We are already seeing reports of other provinces rejecting other recruited teachers for certain reasons, and the president is not bold enough to face the concerns of these people and is shining away from these realities. It's uncalled for. We in the Socialist Party expect that there must be decency. We must say the things we believe in and do exactly that, and not the opposite.
The Barroso Royal Establishment, BRE, has reaffirmed its call for unity and oneness ahead of the 2024 Komboka traditional ceremony. Barroso Royal Establishment Prime Minister Manyando Mukela says the Komboka ceremony of the Lozi people is an event that unifies every Zambian citizen. Speaking during a fundraising dinner for the forthcoming 2024 Komboka ceremony held at a country lodge, Ngambela Mukela said unity of purpose should be the envy of everyone during the celebrations. The Komboka Kufuluhela Committee says it wants to set a precedent by remaining as transparent as possible. Committee National Chairperson Nathaniel Mubukwanu says his committee wants to set a precedent by being as transparent as possible in handling the funds raised for the ceremony. By broadcast time, Zanis reports that the committee had over 1.9 million kwacha cash and pledges during the national fundraising dinner dance. Speaking at the same function, Biocarbon Partners Chief Executive Officer Nick Mudali says his organization is in conserving wildlife, which is important to nature and people. In other news, Agricultural Climate Action Foundation says there is need for all agricultural value chains to enhance collaborative efforts in promotion of climate-smart agriculture in the face of climate change. Foundation Executive Director Oliver Bulaya notes that low productivity affects all sectors of the industry, such as seed companies and fertilizer companies. Dr. Bulaya observes that consumers are increasingly demanding sustainably produced food and companies that embrace climate-smart approaches that can position themselves as leaders in the industry.
The climate change poses significant challenges to the agricultural productivity and affects all sectors of the industry, including seed companies, fertilizer companies, chemical companies, and equipment manufacturers. Building resilience towards mitigation and adaptation of climate agriculture requires collaborative efforts. In this case, we need comprehensive approach that aims to address challenges of the climate threat and promote agricultural practices. We need to recognize the need for adaptation and mitigation strategies to build resilience in agricultural systems and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. It encompasses a range of practices and technologies that can help farmers adapt to changing climate conditions while minimizing the environmental footprints. These practices may include improved water management, conservation agriculture, agroforestry, minimum tillage, and use of climate-resilient crop varieties. We acknowledge that the involvement of seed companies, chemical companies, and other agricultural input providers is crucial in supporting farmers' transition to climate-smart agriculture. These companies can play a pivotal role not only by developing and promoting climate-resilient crop varieties, but
we now take our final set of commercials. I will be back with sports as well as some international news. Stay tuned.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
And now for the rest of the news. In international news, on Saturday, February 10th, at least 2 people were confirmed dead after protests were held across Senegal Friday, February 9th. Demonstrators were not allowed to gather and groups were displaced by security forces. The victims confirmed so far, 2 men in their 20s were killed in St. Louis and in Dakar, according to local media reports. The victim in St. Louis was a student. He was killed on a school campus following demonstrations in the northern city, according to a statement from the public prosecutor. Anger has mounted since President Sall last week postponed presidential elections scheduled this month. The delay came hours before official campaigning was due to begin. Here's a roundup of international news.
On Saturday, at least 2 people were confirmed dead after protests were held across Senegal Friday. Demonstrators were not allowed to gather and groups were dispersed by security forces. The victims confirmed so far, 2 men in their 20s were killed in St. Louis and Dakar, according to local media reports. Anger has mounted since President Sall last week postponed presidential elections scheduled this month. The delay came hours before official campaigning was due to begin. Parliament backed a postponement until December and voted to keep Sall in power until his successor takes office, which is unlikely to be before early 2025. Sall's second term was due to end on April 2nd. The president said he postponed the vote because of a dispute between Parliament and the Constitutional Council over aspiring candidates who were not allowed to stand. In an interview Friday, he said he wants to rapidly organize a national dialogue that will pave the way for a peaceful electoral process. Opposition lawmakers have filed an appeal at the Constitutional Court, while presidential candidates appealed to the Supreme Court. A new round of protest is planned for Tuesday.
I'm here at the Black Star Square in Accra, Ghana, a country buzzing over the return of its stolen antiques by a U.S. museum. The looted Asante Royal regalia and objects by the British are returning to their original place, the Mancha Palace, after 150 years, a sharp reminder of colonial-era appropriations. Reclaiming a culture narrative is at stake here, and the response has been highly sentimental. Being symbols that connect the people to their heritage, the items were welcomed with rituals and ceremonies. The return is viewed as both a healing process and a chance for economic growth through tourism. The repatriation of these items undoubtedly signifies a significant turning point in Ghanaian history, as well as a global dialogue on cultural heritage restitution. Experts predict it will start a global debate and inspire others to evaluate the source of their holdings. As more of these antiques expected in the coming months, Ghana, particularly the Ashanti Kingdom, is eager to restore its past and prestige. Peter Kwao Adato, Africa News, Accra, Ghana.
Delegates from around the world gathered in Panama City for the 10th conference of the Parties Cup to the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, known as WHO FCTC. It was the first in-person cup since 2018. Although in the past 20 years, tobacco prevalence among adults has declined, the WHO FCTC chief warned of the dangers the industry poses to the environment. Lands used for tobacco cultivation are lands that cannot be quickly reconverted to be used again because tobacco, on the one hand, is very demanding in terms of soil nutrients, but it also requires the intensive use of pesticides. Tobacco is really very polluting. The World Health Organization warned last year that many countries facing food security issues were also big tobacco-growing economies. Some 8 million people die each year from tobacco use worldwide. The latest global tobacco report estimates that there are at least 37 million children aged 13 to 15 currently using some form of tobacco, with alarming levels of e-cigarette use among adolescents in some countries. Tobacco consumption is an addiction. Tobacco has nicotine, which is highly addictive as illegal drugs, and the fact that it's legal doesn't make it any less addictive. Most people who smoke started smoking in their teens, when you're not quite ready to make decisions that are going to affect you later on, that will last a lifetime. During the 5-day summit, which ended on Saturday, representatives from 142 parties tackled a range of issues, including the regulation of tobacco advertising. The conference decided to strengthen the article of the framework focused on the protection of the environment and the health of all people.
In sports news, the Football Association of Zambia, FAZ, has congratulated the Zambia Futsal men's national team for qualifying for the Morocco 2024 Africa Cup of Nations after beating Mozambique 4-3 over 2 legs in the final qualifying round. FAZ President Andrew Kamanga says the qualification exemplifies the association's goal of having all national teams regularly appear at international events. The Zambia Futsal national team beat Mozambique 4-3 on aggregate after a 2-0 home win that cancelled out the 3-2 away loss. Kamanga has since urged the team not to lose focus in light of the qualification. This is according to a statement issued by FAZ Communications Manager Sydney Mungula and made available to Camnet TV News. That's it for our main news tonight. Here's a recap of the stories making headlines. ZESCO worry over continued increase of vandalism on electricity infrastructure. UNZA students commend government for meal allowance increase. 8 opposition political parties unveil united KWACHA ALLIANCE-UKA. And in international news, election protest 10 deadly in Senegal. And in sports news, KAMANGA salutes futsal team for AFCON qualification. Our verse of the day is coming from the book of 2 Corinthians 5, verse 14 to 15. For Christ's love compels us, because we are convinced that one died for all, and therefore all died. And he died for all, that those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and was raised again. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Thank you so much for watching. Good night and God bless you.